Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I am Dennis B and this is Tropical EM Plus. This is the new release for the AtGames systems. It's out on the 4KP and the HD and the HDP for that matter. Just released as of today. I literally just downloaded it and installed it, and I'm gonna play it for the first time and kind of just give you my initial impressions. Full disclosure, I have played this before. This is already on Zachariah Pinball on Steam, and anywhere you can play the Zachariah Pinball platform. So I guess a couple things. I'm glad that we're seeing the EM Plus tables coming to the AtGames because I do really like them. They, as you'll see from this, they are very clean. They're very simple. They're very straightforward. They're not, high scoring. They are based on, old school EM tables from the late 70s, early 80s. But they are, they're not overly complicated. There's not a lot of, clutter and bullshit that you see like on some of the deluxe tables. As you can see, if you're looking at this playfield, this one here is very straightforward, right? You have an upper playfield area, you got a lower playfield area. You've got a one ramp, a couple of spinners, and then it's just a bunch of drop targets and spot targets, a ball capture, rollovers. It's very, very simple, very, very straightforward stuff. And that is, again, something that, for me personally, I feel it, I find it appealing. But what you're not going to find on these tables is, you're not going to get a bunch of crazy modes. You're not going to get any kind of wizard mode. There's not going to be any kind of deep storytelling. It is literally, this is, pinball kind of boiled down to its basics of like firing the ball and hitting shit. Knocking down drop targets, hitting spot targets, hitting ramps, hitting spinners. That's it. You're not gonna get in any crazy modes where you hit this lane, hit that, do this, do that, 4 times, 5 times, and this one does have a multi-ball, but you're not going to get any kind of crazy multi-ball exploits on this one either. So again, depending on what your preferences are, that could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing, but to me this is just very simple, straightforward pinball. You're not going to see a ton of high scores. Ball saves it's there, you can get it, it's active I think for the first few seconds, and then there's a way to activate it another way, but for the most part you drain, the ball's gone. You're not getting a lot of extra balls and stuff like that on these tables. So for me personally, one thing I found is games go quick. You're hard pressed to play a game that's longer than like 5 minutes. Maybe that's because I kind of suck at these. I don't know, but anyway, it's just these are good tables to pick up and just play. Now, there is a whole library now. Again, if you're not on Zachariah Pinball on Steam, I do highly recommend it if you have the ability to play Steam and play these on PC and play them OTG. There are, I think there's like 15 or so, 10 to 15 EM Plus tables now. My personal preference, this isn't one of the best of them, but I'm glad we're getting them because there are some really, really good ones there. So anyway, I'll stop yammering on. As I said, I just downloaded this. I have not played this on the 4KP yet, so I'm curious to see like what the ball physics are like and how it plays on this system. So far, it looks really good. It looks really sharp. As I said, there's not a lot of stuff going on here, so my expectation is that this table is going to play very clean and very smooth. And yeah, so let's just see what we got here. All right. So you get this. You got your top roller. So this is the upper play field, and what you want to do up here is you've got a bank of drop targets up here, and you've got a bank of spot targets here. So if you knock all of these down, I think each one of these, so there'll be like 4,000 points for completing each one of these, and there's 3 lights here. So knock down all 4 surf, and that's going to light the surf light. That's down here, the bottom left here. Lagoon is the spinner, which I've already done. And then palm is lighting up all of these. So each one of those is 4,000 points. And then if you do all 3, you get another 2,000. So that's 14,000 points right there just by completing these. Let's see if I can get them. Missed it. Trying to light that palm to get that third one. So that'll stay like that every time you get the ball up there. So what you could do then is shoot the ball up here, and then it'll get kind of captured and then come back down to the second playfield. So in order to get back up to the second playfield, you're right up this middle lane right here, and there's a pineapple spinner right there. So I'm gonna see if I can get it. I was a little early on that. Whoa, no bounce. See, there you go, right up in there. So I'm gonna try to see if I can light all those palm lights. That's one more. I got one more. Get that P. Of course, I get the A right next to it. See if I can backhand it. There you go. Boom. Lit all 3. That's completed. So that was 4,000 for each one, plus an extra 2,000. As you can see, if you can see the DMD up top, you know, at 40,000 points. You know, you're not going to be getting, you know, like, I mean, a good game, you might get 1 million or 2, but you're not going to be seeing a ton of super high scores on this. Get that M. Ooh, missed it down here. Okay. Other things to do in this game. So you see that there's these little red lights all over the place. There's one here. There's one here. Those are all rollovers. And if you activate all of those rollovers, which I believe I only have, well, I've got the 2 in the outlanes here. If you activate them all, that's how you start multi-ball, and you'll get, they'll basically just automatically eject a second ball into the playfield. And then when you have the 2 balls going, if you light up all the rollovers again, it'll eject a 3rd ball in there, and so you can get a 3-ball multi-ball. So I'll go through, you know, this is supposed to be more of an impressions video than a tutorial, but there's really not a lot to this table, so I'll kind of tell y'all what you're supposed to do in order to kind of get points. But right now, so far so good. I mean, 0 latency, 0 flipper lag. I mean, that's super responsive. I like it. Not experiencing any slowdown. That's the one thing I'll say when playing this on Steam. I would get, when you get into the second ball, I get a little bit of slowdown, but that's more of an issue with my PC than the game itself. So so with the lower play field, there's kind of a couple things to do. So there are, you know, what I'll call modes. They're not really modes, but there's these 5 lights here that are basically different things that you can do around the table. You've got this sun ramp here, and you've got these beach targets here. So basically, these beach targets here, when you hit and knock down all of these, it advances the light on this sand capture hole. So basically you can see it's 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. So every time you knock down the full set of beach, it increases the value of that drop hole. So every time you hit it, you get more points. Tropical over here, this goes from 5,000 all the way up to 12,000. These lights get lit the more you hit this spinner here. And I'll tell you, advanced tropical bonus. So again, if you can hit this spinner, you can get that up to 12,000, and then every time that you hit the spinner after that, you'll get that number of points. So again, that's something that if you get good at that shot, I mean, one way to get a bunch of points is to just hit that spinner over and over again, and you can get your score up pretty quickly. You know, because just think 12,000, 12,000, 12,000 in a game that you're, you know, like I said, you'll be lucky to get to 1 million points. That could add up quick. Couple other things here. So I just completed the bay rollovers up here. Okay, that is right down here, the Sunset Bay. So there are 5 things down here. So Wave Rider, if you light up all of these bottom rollovers, that completes Wave Rider. So you need to get all 4. Obviously, when you have one lit, you hit the flipper button in order to cycle the what is lit. So obviously, you don't want to light it. You don't want to light it as you're draining in the out lane. But so that's why you want to make sure you're staying in the in lanes and then moving your light. So anyway, Wave Rider, light the 4 wave lights. Dream Coast, I'm trying to remember. Dream Coast, I believe, is the, well, let's just look real quick here. Sorry, I was trying to remember this here. Okay, so Dream Coast is the left orbit 4 times. Okay, so that is, okay, this one right here. And I guess it makes sense because it says coast. So if you can pass over, if you can shoot the ball in here 4 times. Oh, shit, I was not paying attention. Sorry, I took my hand off the flipper. Anyway, that's coast. Sunset Bay we talked about. Sea Adventure, that's these 3 SEA spot targets. That completes that. And then Coconut Cocktail, I believe is... Which one is Coconut? Last one here, Coconut. Oh, the Slingshots. Coconut Slingshots 12 times. So essentially, if you can complete all those are 20,000 points each, and then you get a 50,000 point bonus for completing them all. So that is, these modes right here are probably, well, not probably, they are the most points on the table in terms of like single single things that you need to do. But like I said, I think right now, if I would say that there's a quote unquote exploit here, it would be advancing the tropical by hitting this lane and just, if you can hit that lane over and over again, you advance them all, and then you're getting 12,000 points a pop. That, that to me is probably, if you're just gonna play it and just try to get score, you can get good at that shot. That's probably the fastest exploit in order to get to the highest score. Again, up here it's fine, as I talked about. Up here it's very safe. You can hit each of those, and as I said, you complete each of these, they're 4,000 points each, plus another 2,000. So that's 14,000 just if you can stay up in that playfield. And that's the good thing about that playfield is, like, a mistake isn't going to be a drain like that. Again, your bay. Yep. And see, that's where I was saying, like, again, I wouldn't necessarily call it an exploit, because if you miss that lane, you're in a risk of draining. So I'm gonna fire up another game. So yeah, so this has become probably more of a tutorial than a reaction video, but ultimately my reaction on this one is I think is exactly as I anticipated it. I mean, the latency, that I have to say, this right now feels like one of the most responsive games that I can recall. I know that all of the Magic Pixel tables are, pretty responsive in terms of latency and flipper lag, but this plays really, really nice. And might be just my imagination, because, as I said, I've been playing an OTG that has built-in lag. So this one here definitely feels very smooth. Being able to do that backhand, it's pretty nice. The one thing I'll say, and I'm gonna actually check it right now if I can hit it, on Steam, when you shoot the ball into this capture hole and it ejects, the fucking thing ejects right down the middle. So you have to be on top of it. There's a drain. So you have to be on top of it when it's ejecting to nudge. Otherwise you might have it's a really shitty way to lose a ball. Just have an eject hole, fire it right down the middle. Oh, wow. If you just saw that, the ball bounced on top over here. I did also play this game on Steam because I have a MetaQuest headset now and Steam VR, and playing this game in VR is actually pretty fun too. But on VR, you get a lot of that because it's, you know, in 3 dimensions. You get a lot of the ball popping up and bouncing on top of parts of the table that I don't think it's really meant to be bouncing on. But again, right there. So if I can get that, like those slingshots back and forth, that completes the coconut cocktail. So you get it the slingshots 12 times, which... Alright, does it eject down the middle? So, okay, so it doesn't here. On the Steam version, that thing fires directly down the middle every time. And so you gotta be like on top of it and time your nudge. So that's the only thing I'll say, is just be cautious of that. So thankfully that doesn't, I 2 for 2 with it not doing that, which is great. So for me, for score chasing purposes, well, number 1, let me just do that real quick. Oh, damn it, get up here. So the best way to complete the Wave Rider is hitting the ramp and then getting your, moving your light. And that's not the way to do that. Suck. But that's the thing about these EM Plus tables is, yeah, you know, you make one mistake, it bounces out. You're not, you know, the ball save is generally just not going to be there. So you can have a good game going and you can end it pretty damn quick like that. So, I know you all can't see the back glass on this one here, but the back glass is, again, is a pretty standard, EM back glass is just basically, it's just a tropical with a running score. So that 4100 that you see on the DMD, it's just a running, you know, it looks like one of those analog dials on the back glass. It just flips over to the score. So my point is, it's nothing special. It's literally just, if you're playing 4 players, it's four scores on the back glass. And all of the EM Plus tables are like that. There's no fancy DMD. There's nothing like that. It's literally just an image on the back glass with your score. This does not work like that. So that spinner in the middle there is technically, it's a ramp. So you only hit the spinner. If you go up the ramp and the ball, it just kind of, it's a loop ramp. So it goes in and up and out the top, and that's what hits the spinner. So you can, you know, if it doesn't hit the full loop, you're not gonna spin the spinner. But like I said, I mean, if you know, it would be an incredibly boring game, but if you could keep the ball up here and just do this over and over again, that's another kind of way to get your score up. It's just going to take a while. Those are only, as I said, 4,000 points for each one, and then you get an extra 2,000 when you complete all 3, and then it starts over again. But yeah, for me, I'm not going to do this. It's too boring. But anyway, yeah, just in what I've, you know, discussed so far, I mean, that's basically the entirety of the scoring on this table is. I can... So one strategy, and I'm just kind of thinking through it right now, is between hitting that ramp I just hit and hitting the lane next to it, and not doing that. Shit. You can advance, you know, you could get the wave. So one thing you probably want to do in order to collect the wave quickly is just hit the ramp and have the rails return it and light your in lane lights. So boom, that's the Wave Rider. Hitting that capture ball. Stop the ball here. So this ball capture, hitting the ball capture and having it hit that target back there advances Sun, which is this one here, and that increases the value of that ramp as well. So and of course I'm going to keep hitting that ramp, but I want to try to, what I'm going for is that tropical bonus lane right in the middle of the two, that one right there, because I would like to try to get this up. And there you got all of those. So now I'm up to the O in tropical. No, you suck. And there's Magic Pixel Game for you. I mean, literally, there's two lanes there, and it's bopping and bobbing around. I nudged to get it away, and it just bounced right back in the out lane. Because they love their bouncy physics to bounce right into them. They're fucking out lanes. There it is. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you'd have a really, really good game going, and then I just got two shit bounces right to the right into that out lane. This will fall right into RTX's one ball for greatness, because I had like 300,000 on my first ball. Second ball was probably about like 20-something thousand, and we'll see what happens with this one. But yeah, hitting that lane and advancing the tropical. So the hardest ones, the ones I have left for the modes down here, Coconut Cocktail, which is getting these bumpers 12 times, and Dream Coast, which is that right there. But I gotta tell you, man, that shot, I can try it because I don't really care about my score right now. I'm not score hunting, but that's gotta be a tough shot to hit. You can do it. There. Says you gotta do it 4 times. See, and if you miss, it's dangerous. No! No, and there you go. That's just me. I was trying to nudge past and I fucked it up. Okay, so we are at about 25 minutes on this. So, I'll do one more game, but I'll tell you my initial thoughts. So, this game, again, I feel like kind of comes as advertised. It's very clean, flipper lag, non-existent, super responsive. The game is simple. It's easy to play. You're not, scoring points. Not gonna be a ton. It's not gonna be one of these billion point kind of games. As I said, I'm kind of screwing around. I was just last one. I almost hit 400,000. So chances are, I think that the top scores you're probably going to be looking in that 2 to 3 million range. When people really get going on this and lock in. Yeah, you're probably the tippity top is going to be a couple million. But again, the EM tables, they are what they are. They're very simple, very straightforward. They are fun to play. I find them fun to play. If you're looking for a lot of more modern, like the modern DMD, lots of ramps, lots of modes, wizard modes, shit like that, these EM Plus tables are probably not for you. These are more simplistic, late 70s, early 80s pinball tables. The reason they call them the EM Pluses is because, they will do a ramp, and some of the more, they have a little bit like more modern touches to an old school table is essentially what that is. So, but this one is, it plays nice. It's fun. I gotta say, playing this is on 4K, so it's $8. $6 on the HD. Look, $8 is a cup of coffee nowadays, so I'll leave it up to you on whether it's value-wise it's worth it. You can get the whole pack of these tables for, I believe it's like 10, and it's like 4 tables on Steam. So I will say I do kind of question whether this table's worth the full $8. But you could say that about a lot of tables. As soon as they broke out and did individual table pricing for AtGames, you've got some just terrible Gottlieb tables that are $8 too. So in that context, I guess that this is worth the $8 because this is better than some of those tables. But this one really, probably should have been slightly discounted, if I'm being honest. But anyway, I like it. It's fun. If you like these older EM tables, this is definitely something that you would want to pick up. And as you can see, it's the look. It's super clean. It's easy to see. There's nothing where you're kind of questioning, hey, what is that, and where is this? Is there anything hidden behind something? Like, you don't really have to deal with that because it's all pretty. What you see is what you get here. Yeah, and it's pretty fun. I'm not going to give it a rating. I would say if the biggest drawback of this table, if there is one, in my opinion, is the $8 cost. This probably should not be the full price $8 table, but we are where we are, and it is what it is with AtGames. So yeah. That's pretty much my thoughts on this table. If you guys have any questions or anything I kind of missed when it comes to strategies for this table, let me know in the comments. And thanks for watching. We'll talk to y'all soon. Take care. Bye.